Haley, you talked about going into the grocery store and like what's safe, what to look out for. What is something that might be, something that our listeners, our viewers don't know about food safety that they should maybe start paying attention to?
Wow. A grocery store is a fascinating place, right? It's
I always get the, "Can I help you, ma'am?"
Yeah,
in the
that's
produce
true.
section.
Yeah, because we're always just sitting around, standing, looking at like grocery store stalkers, I suppose. Like, why are you loitering? Well, just taking a look at what? No. I think being aware, I would say, of how produce is handled. Okay. We often have people rifling through produce looking for something that's high quality or meets that aesthetic property that you might have as your ideal. Thanks for touching all of that.
Yeah.
It's like,
me.
Do you ever pick the first cantaloupe in the bin that you touch? Probably not. No. And so probably the other 50 people don't pick the first one they touch too. So that's the thing, I think, from a food safety perspective in the produce aisle, you don't only have what could have come from the farm, but you also have what was on the hands of the 50 people or plus that touched that item before you purchase it, right? So, that just drives our growers, insane, because they said we do everything we can do, but now we have, all these.
Right. It goes into the public sphere,
right.
and that's not to say you need to be panicking and worrying at that level of oh my gosh, every product X is dangerous now. That's not the case, but it's interesting. I think if you would survey people in a grocery store, your average consumer, getting into the discussion of safety and quality, that there's often confusion between those two terms. Quality is appearance, taste. Could even, some houses would include nutrition within that, but that doesn't have anything to do with safety. Things like salmonella, our good friend Salmonella, E. coli, those don't actually destroy your food. They don't spoil your food. None of the characteristics of your food, like slimy lettuce, for example, it's not them. Those are spoilage organisms, and spoilage organisms, well beyond 90% of them, don't cause disease. And so the groups that are reducing your quality, the organisms that are destroying quality, have nothing to do with safety. And that's a major confusion and a big contributor to waste.
Yeah. Well, and actually, though, the more spoilage bacteria or microorganisms there, the fewer the pathogens, because they outcompete the pathogens. So it's probably actually, from a food safety standpoint, the slimy lettuce probably
might have an edge.
Yeah, right.
Except for it doesn't have an edge.
No.
It causes sugar pressure.